Hello, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I used the Meat Complete cookbook from 1943 and I made the Western Ranch meatloaf. Now, a couple things I did differently. I did almost double the recipe, so it called for 1 medium onion and 3/4 cup diced celery, and I doubled that. I really did only use the 1 onion, but I doubled the celery. I sauteed them with some fat, and then I skipped the green peppers because I have a daughter who won't eat food with cooked green peppers. Then it called for 3 cups of breadcrumbs, so I used 6. I had some store-bought and I had some bread that I tore up, so I just used several slices of whole wheat bread till I got the right amount of breadcrumbs. The recipe called for 2 eggs, and by mistake I only used 2 eggs. I meant to use 4, but if we were really rationing, that would be fine because we didn't have a lot of eggs anyway. Then it called for a 1/2 cup of water, so I used a cup, and you mix it up until you have a dressing consistency. So that's what I did. I mixed it, and I ended up realizing I was going to have to mix it by hand because it was just not combining the way I wanted it to. But it came to a pretty good, although somewhat dry consistency. But I figured the fat in the ground beef would compensate for the dryness of the dressing, and it did. Then you add half of your breadcrumb mixture to your ground beef, and you give that a really, really good mix. Once that's well combined, you want to spread that into a large casserole dish. Now, the recipe calls for a 2-quart loaf pan, but I used my largest casserole dish because I had doubled it and I had a lot of meat to cook. But it says to put about half of your meat mixture in the bottom of your pan, and then you want to add the other half of your dressing mix and press that down into your meat mixture. Alright, once you have that pressed in, you're going to top it with the rest of your meat and get that spread out over the whole thing. Now, here's where I varied a little bit from the diff. I put my own twist on it. It calls for tomato juice on top, and instead of just regular tomato juice, which I really didn't have any, the only other thing I normally would put on it would be either ketchup or barbecue sauce, but my family don't like it with ketchup. I'm not a huge fan of it with barbecue sauce, so I tried something new. We have sweet and tangy French dressing. It's my husband's favorite, and I took a 1/2 cup of that dressing, mixed it with a 1/2 cup of water, and I drizzled that on. And let me tell you, it gave it some great flavor, and it was good. Now, I do have 3 children that do not like meatloaf. They ate it because it's what I cooked, but everybody else loves it. So, once I was finished with this part, I did cover it with plastic wrap, and I put it in the refrigerator overnight because I did this last night. And then when it was time to bake it this afternoon, I got it in the oven plenty early so it'd be ready at supper time, and it came out absolutely perfectly. I served it with mashed potatoes, corn on the cob, and boiled okra. Bon appetit!